having a lovely weekend, and I'm here today to do the Seamtess Tag. Better late than never. I did do the Seamtess Tag on my blog back in September, but I thought it would be a nice thing to do now that I'm doing the vlog as well, so that you can get to know me a little bit better. So if you don't know about the Seamtess Tag, it was created by Holly of Holly Dolly as just a lovely way of getting to know the sewing vloggers a bit better. So here we go. We'll start with question number 1. I have my notebook here. So question number 1 is, who are you? So I'm Hayley. I am the owner of Sew Hayley Jane. If you watched my vlog last week, I did an unboxing. So I do a dressmaking subscription box company. That's my business. I live in Hampshire with my husband Andy. Question 2 is, when and why did you start sewing? So both my mum and my nan used to sew. My nan made her own wedding dress, and she made my mum's wedding dress, and all that kind of stuff. So lots of sewing has always sort of been around. And I did textiles for GCSE, not very successfully at that time, I hasten to add. And then I went to uni. I studied to be a teacher and did various other things. I never did teaching in the end. It wasn't quite for me. Did various other things, and every now and then picked up sewing. And about 5 years ago I started getting into blogs, and I was very much into vintage style, vintage fashion. And I found a couple of blogs. One was Casey's Elegant Musings, I think it was called then. She's changed it. She's either changed it since then to something else, or it's been changed to Casey's Elegant Musings recently. And there was another one, gosh, I can't remember. I'll see if I can find it and I'll tag it below. Although I don't think it's actually around anymore. And they both sewed their own vintage style garments, and I just thought it was lovely. So I learned to make a circle skirt, was the first thing I actually made. And yeah, so I've sort of picked it up and down again since then whilst working. And then when Andy and me, actually that must have been more than 5 years ago now. Probably more like 7 or 8 years. Because Andy and I moved in our house 3 years ago. And there's a spare room, which I have turned into, as you can see behind me, my sewing room. So I did a lot more sewing after moving in with Andy, and definitely more this year since starting the business. So that's a little bit about how I got into sewing. Okay, question 3. What is your favourite or proudest make? My favourite make is probably the rosy dress from Cotton and Chalk, which was a pattern that came in a magazine, and I made it in a blue viscose, and it's lovely. It's a sort of a tea dress style, so it has a v-neck. Bit too deep of a v-neck actually, if I'm honest. I will probably either put something underneath it, or if I make it again in the future, bring it up a little bit. It has gathers under the bust and at the arms, and a lovely sort of waist insert, and then a gathered skirt that just flows out really nicely, and it's just so flattering. So that's probably my favourite make. My proudest make, so just before Christmas I made the Victoria blazer from By Hand London, and it was something a bit different that I'd not really made before. I've mostly made dresses that I can't actually wear every day because they're not everyday wear style. So that's one of my sewing resolutions actually this year, is to make more everyday garments. So the Victoria blazer was, yeah, lovely. I've not made a jacket or a blazer or anything like that before, so that was a little bit different, and I really liked it. I haven't blogged about it yet, so I will show you all soon. My most disastrous make that I definitely know is I did the New Look. Let me see if I can find the pattern. Here it is. So New Look 6483. Relatively simple pattern, but I made it in, I bought a really gorgeous drapey fabric from Sew Over It with a birthday voucher, and I made it up and I was really proud of it, but I was lazy and I didn't properly finish the seams. I don't think I even did a zigzag finish. I don't know why. I really don't know why. So I didn't finish the seams at all, and wore it, and it was lovely, and washed it, and holes everywhere in the facing and the armhole, along the side seams, everywhere there were holes. It was beyond repair, because it unravelled so much. So I did manage to sort of salvage it into just a sort of a strappy top, but whether or not I ever wear it, I don't know. So yes, that was definitely my most disastrous make. Finished those seams, definitely. As you can see, oh, which side? I now have an overlocker, which was a Christmas gift from my family. I haven't actually used it yet. I'm a little bit scared, I think. But I definitely need to, so that I can finish my seams properly. Okay. Number 5, favourite place to go shopping, fabric shopping. There's not very many really good fabric shops around here. The closest one is C&H Fabrics in Winchester, which is lovely, but they don't have the hugest range of dressmaking fabrics. They say that I have found quite the bargain there recently, which if you saw on Instagram you will have seen that. So I've already got into that. So there's also a shop in Petersfield called So Creative, which is lovely. It's a really beautiful shop and they have a really lovely selection of fabrics, but it's about a 45-minute drive, and I don't really have any other reason very often to go to Petersfield, so it's a bit far out of the way for me. But so I do most of my fabric shopping online. Obviously I love the fabrics that you get in Sew Over It and Guthrie and Garney. They are just, I think the websites are beautiful, which really helps. But there's also Abercarn. Abercarn is great too. So yeah, those are probably my go-to fabric shops. Okay. Number 6 is my most used pattern. I haven't made very many patterns more than once. Probably the most used pattern is the Margot pyjamas from Tilly and the Buttons book, Love at First Stitch. I've made myself 2 pairs, and I've made my sister a pair of pyjamas, and it's just a really lovely, easy pattern. I was tempted to make it again with some fabric, but I've decided on something else. But I definitely want to make some more. I need to get some fleecy, flannelly fabric to make a really cosy pair. I was very jealous of the pair I made my sister, actually. My most dreaded sewing task is probably tracing patterns. It's one of those things you have to do it really, especially if you've got lots of adjustments to make, which I normally do. But I'm just so impatient. I just want to get straight in and get cutting the fabric, and tracing off the pattern is just a necessary, boring task. But it's important, especially if you think you're going to make the pattern more than once. My favourite sewing task it's a simple one. It's probably pressing seams. It's just one of those simple, satisfying tasks, especially if the fabric presses nicely. it just, yeah, it's just a satisfying thing. You can start to see it taking shape and the taking form, and just everything looks nicer when it's properly pressed as well. Number 9, what is your sewing entertainment? Sewing entertainment. I've recently gotten into podcasts. So if you have any suggestions, I quite enjoy the Scummy Mummies podcast, is it? I think that they're just quite funny. There's also the Gold Digger podcast on iTunes, which is a relatively new one for creative girl bosses. Printed or PDF patterns is the next question. Definitely printed. I probably would enjoy PDF patterns a little bit more if our printer wasn't so bad. Our printer prints things a little bit on a wonk, which obviously isn't what you need when you're printing off a pattern. So I also just find the method of trimming and sticking and all that kind of stuff a bit tedious, really. I'm very impatient. I like to have the pattern. I also really like the artwork, the cover of a pattern. They just look really nice. It's nice to have something solid. It's the same with books. I've never been great at sort of reading books on a Kindle or anything like that. I like to have the thing in my hands. Question 11, what sewing machine do you use? So I was very lucky. I got a new sewing machine along with my new overlocker. Oh, you can see it. No, you can see it over here. There it is. So they came as part of a deal just before Christmas, which was amazing. So my family clubbed together and got me the sewing machine. It is a Janome CXL301. As you can see, it's an electronic machine, and I love it. It's got the one-step buttonhole, which is amazing. It's fantastic, and it sews nicely. It's really quiet, at least compared to my old machine. I was using a Brother before, just a sort of simple starter machine. So yes, I like it. It's lovely. It's got some very cool features to it. On to the final question then. Do you have any other hobbies? Yes, I love baking. I used to bake cupcakes to sell to friends and family, and there's a little cafe local who I used to donate cakes to. They were a charity coffee shop, and I used to bake seasonal cupcakes and donate them there. I love cooking. I do enjoy cooking when I'm not too tired. Any other hobbies? Just chilling out with Andy or with friends, going to the pub. We've recently gotten into playing board games, which I know, a little bit geeky. I think that's about it really. Reading. I like reading. I like to get stuck into a good book, which I quite often talk about on my Instagram account too, so always up for new recommendations of good books. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely week everyone, and I will see you soon. Bye!